On Samachay with Aleph. Is that true? Yeah, Samachay, a couple of lines down. Tanu Rabbanan. So we're talking about this case that people were married and they had no children. They have to remarry. Mitzvah Puruvu. Tanu Rabbanan. This is Levisha, V'lo Labanim, L'Sheni, V'lo Labanim, L'Shlish Lotinase, Elu Mishesh Labanim. So far, we know all this already. That the same as Rebbe, according to Rebbe, that 2 times is a chazaka enough that she's not allowed to marry a third person who needs children. So she can only marry now a person who does not need children. He has children already. So 2 times is a chazaka. She stayed with the first husband 10 years and he did not have children. She's allowed to get married to a second husband and wait 10 years. But then also, if both of them didn't have, so she's not allowed to marry a third one, only if he has children already. So far we know that. Now it says, what if she married? She wasn't supposed to, but she got married to somebody that does not have children, but she wasn't supposed to. The third time, she wasn't supposed to. We passed like Rebbe, she wasn't supposed to. So he's supposed to divorce her, and she doesn't get ksuba. There are a few pshatim over here. Some say that Teisei V'lo means if also. The question is why about the second one? Why does the second one give ksuba? If you say 2 times it's a chazaka, so then the second one also should say it's a chazaka that you're the problem because it's 2 times already. Same reason she can't get married a third time. She should not get ksuba from the second one. So now Taisus explains that for money, even Rebbe will hold that you need 3 times for a ksuba. Here it's ready the third time, so that's why Teisei V'lo ksuba. If she waited 3 times, if she had 3 times she tried and 30 years already, 3 times 10 years. She didn't have children, so now she doesn't get ksuba either. Others say that the case was that she did not tell him that she was married twice already, 20 years, and he didn't do such a birur. She's married 20 years already with no children. He didn't know about it. So if that would be the case, the Teisei V'lo ksuba because there's a mekach Torah, kiddushei Torah. He didn't know. Okay, next Gemara. What's the case if she married a third time and she did not have children? This case surely means that she waited 10 years also. She was with him for 10 years. She wasn't supposed to, but the Ma'aseh there were 3 times that she didn't have children. So now it's a chazaka mamash, even like this one regards as money. And therefore, the question was if the first ones who paid ksuba, the first 2 paid ksuba, because maybe it's his fault. But now they saw a chazaka that is her fault. So they want to come back and say, give us back the ksuba that we paid you. Because the first ones demand back the ksuba that they gave, because now we see that it's your fault. They could say that now the thing has been revealed, the mafreya, that you're the cause. Maybe on the other hand, she could say it's true that there's a chazaka, but the chazaka just shows from now on. It seems the Gemara is talking about every chazaka. Do you say that the chazaka shows retroactively? That's the way it was the whole time, or it just shows that now from now on that's the state. So the Gemara just answers, the Gemara doesn't prove it. The Gemara says Mistavra that she could kind of that even though it's chazaka, but it only shows from now on. It doesn't show that the whole time it was. Maybe I should just be putting some periods over here the whole time, but just to show where the sukkahs are over each time. Okay. Here was the other one over here. Okay. So next one. Another question now. This says Levi, Mahu did this for all the shlishi. What she married 3 husbands, and she didn't have children the whole time. The first two we said she got ksuba, but the third one she didn't get ksuba. Teisei V'lo ksuba, and now she married a 4th one, which probably she shouldn't have. Right. but she did have children. She has a big history, 30 years without children, 3 husbands. Not a 4th husband, she had children. So now she goes back to the third husband and says, "You didn't give me ksuba. Here I am. I'm a bas banim." Wow. So here the Gemara says that it's not smart for her to claim that because Amrin Allah, we tell her, your silence is better than your speech. Means better don't talk. If you're going to go to the husband and say, "You see, I'm a bas banim," then the husband's going to say, if you're a bas banim, I never meant to divorce you. So the divorce is not a divorce, and your marriage to the 4th husband is a ish, and the kids are mamzerim. Like, don't start up. So therefore, she should not ask the third one for ksuba. But then the Gemara says, but even if he doesn't ask for ksuba, even if she's quiet, but it's a big kasha. It's a problem. If she's quiet, but how are we going to be quiet? It's a good kasha that if she had children now, even though she was she got divorced from the third husband, and the first and second and the third, all of them divorced her, and now she does have children. So all those gittin were only, or the last one, they were only with the intention, under the assumption that she's not a basbana. But now she proved that she is a basbana because she had a child from the fourth husband. So why don't we say that's not going to get was a mistake and it wasn't a good gerushin?
But she's not a basbana with them.
That's the question. If you say that now she
As
was
a team,
proven
for some reason, the two together, they couldn't
Bad
have
chemistry. It's called bad chemistry.
Yeah, they had their chemistry.
no, but that's what the Chazak always says. That's what the question is. All time, the first time, second time, is it her or is it him? It's like you have an outlet, and you have different machines. You put 3 different machines into the same outlet. None of them work. What do we say? It's the outlet. That's what happened over here. So you don't say it happened to be each one. It wasn't a match. If you see 3 times she had husbands that she didn't have a children, so we say that she's the cause. So we don't say no. It happened to be that he was the cause, or the match wasn't good. We say that if she's not a basbana, she's not a basbana.
Then you take the fourth thing and you put it into the outlet.
And now it does work. Right.
So now, it's not the outlet.
Right, not the outlet. So that's what she's saying. And that's what they want. Now it's got to be quiet. If you're going to talk, you're going to make a problem. But then the Gemara says it's a problem even if she doesn't talk. That if you see now she was a basbana, the first ones gave her a get only because they thought she was not able to have children. But now she could have children. It wasn't true. She could. And therefore the get wasn't a good get. So I think so. The Gemara talks about, I think that's what the Gemara means also. All the get was good. All the get them were given because they thought she's not a basbana. And now we see she is a basbana. So there shouldn't be a good get. And bunch of mamzem over here. The Gemara says, the Chazaka just says that the Chazaka was that she couldn't have children. It said she could not have children. Now she had children. Now she got healthy. Now she got healed. Even though you don't now the electricity went on. That if you had 3 machshirim, you put into the same outlet, it didn't work, and now you put a 4th one in, it does work. We don't say dafka that the first 3 the outlet was working also. The outlet wasn't working then, and that's why the 3 didn't go. And now it works. Now the company, the electric company, put it back on again.
9:30 this morning, we got that.
There was a shine the nice
Right?
few years ago here in Israel. There was a Zug said that he wasn't Matzliach. So they made him get divorced. He got remarried. And then he had a kid. So one of my said that kid's a riot that the first gets is not good. I know what happened to my son.
Yeah, no.
But he has to do the B'yasa, this thing that it doesn't show them a prayer, even though now it's good. Maybe before it wasn't.
I guess he didn't know Pashtus. He didn't know how to do it.
It wasn't something that changed.
The Chazaka is so strong that we consider it a Chazaka.
Yes, and even if now you see that it changed, it just changed now. I think the mashal. I didn't mean I wasn't thinking so much, but the mashal is a nice mashal. You had an outlet, and you had 3 different machines. You tried all of them, it didn't work. So you say, "Oh, must be the outlet is not working." Then you put in the 4th one, and the 4th one does work. So what do you say? The first 3 machines are not good? No, the electricity was off until then. Now the electricity went on. I think so. Yes, kind of.
I would think that I think there should be some kind of tanai in the divorce, that if there's any mistaking
any staking means
if
what?
there's any mistaking that she is the cause of it, the get is nonetheless a get, and it's,
not a tanai, but more the other way to and all the Gemara does that sometimes.
Once that we've both agreed that because there are no children and the halacha states such and such and such, we are now
and even if it's going to be with barer, that is a mistake. The Gemara does that, like you said. The Gemara says sometimes when we want to make a get, they want to make sure it's not going to be batal l'mafreya. So we say you have to know that under no circumstances could you ever take it back. If you can't take it back, you can't say that if I would have known, because we told you that if you divorce it, it's so there is such a thing in the Gemara. I don't know, but here the Gemara doesn't say that. Here the point was maybe also because we're forcing him. When we're forcing him, it could be that it's could be when we're forcing him, we can't do that. Maybe you can't force him to say have this kind of das. Maybe over there the case in the Gemara is talking about when he's mostly because she's such a kind, or she's such a kind, whatever. I forgot she makes Nadarim. I forgot the other case the Gemara says. But it could be over here that we're forcing him to divorce her. We can't tell him we're forcing you to divorce her under all circumstances. I'm not sure if we have the power to do that. I'm not sure.
After 10 years, we forced them. It's not.
So in our Gemara didn't say. Our Gemara did say that he's mechuyev to divorce, and not only he may, but he is mechuyev to divorce. Of course, we said that if he gets another wife right away, If he has another wife, if you take a second wife with the first wife, then no reason to divorce her.
Right.
And but if he doesn't find a wife, could be no one because no one wants to marry to be a second wife. So then we do tell him to divorce her, and
Today.
that's so here today they talk about the post in the Gemara comes out kofim. The Gemara we pass in kofim, and that's not here. It's the Gemara Ksubas that says machlokas if we force him, and the Gemara says if we pass him we do force. So then the question is why nowadays don't
See a lot of people that don't do that.
right nowadays we don't. So if one point would be that nowadays there's more medical knowledge, and it could be if we know that is from him, he's the problem. So then there's surely no reason to divorce because it's not her problem, it's his problem. It's not going to help him to get married someplace else. That's one point. And there could be cases that it says that he's supposed to, but we're not going to force. You don't force. Someone said as far. I don't know if this is the truth. That really the Gemara never made a case he has to divorce his wife. That's such a terrible thing. It's because he can marry another wife. Now we made a custom. Even the Random Gershom didn't say not to take a second wife if it's such a case. In such a case, the Random Gershom didn't make don't take a second wife. We made, or the law made. So we're not going to force him to divorce his wife. That might be as far that we're not going to force him to divorce his wife because the Torah never said such. The Rebbeinu didn't say such a thing. The Rebbeinu said get another wife. We made an issue that he can't take another wife. So he says, what do you want from me? So I'm not sure if that's the reason, but there is a revush. Everyone brings the minhag is not a revush. The Ramah says the minhag is not to force, even though he should divorce, but we're not going to force him. He should divorce, but we're not going to force. But the revush is the opposite. The revush was in a different cultural Gamri, and the revush says that there's no reason to make him to divorce because many people will marry. The reason to divorce is in order that another woman should want to marry him. Because if he has a wife, then it's not easy to get a second wife. People don't want to be a second wife; they want to be an only wife. But he said, no problem. Nowadays, in his time, many people are no problem. A second wife, a third wife. So in that culture that he was, that was a reason not to force to divorce because he can get easily a second and third wife, and the divorce is not going to make a difference. He can get a wife anyway. So that is the head there that the revush says, which doesn't apply at all. But it became like the revush already that we don't force, even though his reasoning doesn't apply nowadays. Now it's the opposite. I'm just saying that it could be that the opposite also is true. That since he can't get a second wife, so Chazal never made such a situation that he should have to divorce his wife and not give him any choice. If he has a choice to get married to a second wife at the same simultaneously, so then we'll say if you don't want to, so then divorce. But if you don't give him the option even. So the custom of life is not to force.
Because today also after 10 years, there's a lot of times the woman or the man, whatever, they're still getting treatment, they're getting.
If there's a chance that they might be able to, they might still be able to.
There are lots of cases,
Ronnie's
15,
wife,
16 years.
child 49 years old. She was 49. Ronnie's wife, you never they were married much more than 10 years.
I know the guy. He married 33 years and they had twins.
33 years.
Hashem Shalom. Next case. This Gemara, there are many pshatim in this next Gemara.
I'll show you the guy.
And I'll just say one shot that I got that's a simple shot, not going into there are many. I think I saw they bring down about 6 shatim and some say even 12 shatim and different Rishonim in this Gemara over here. The next Gemara, first wide line. Who Amra Mina, the Amra Mine. He says that she's the problem, and she says he's the problem. So here the case, what's the case? To make it simple, without any that he wants to divorce her without giving her ksuba, and she says it's your problem. And if you want to divorce me, he has a right to divorce. A husband could divorce a wife without that. Nowadays, the also that you can't divorce against her will. But in the Rabbanan law, in the Torah law, Rabbanan law, a husband could divorce, just he has to give ksuba, unless unless he's the problem. Again, if he's the problem,
She can't. You're right.
if he's the problem. So here he's saying that he wants to divorce her without giving ksuba because she cannot have children.
Right.
And now we'll stick in the Gemara doesn't take a favor. We'll stick in that he's saying Tina's book. He's saying with a definite that he knows he sees that she has problems and that's why she's not having children. Whatever simonim he has, that she's an island, whatever it might be, and he says that he could tell that it's her problem, and therefore he wants to divorce her without giving ksuba. And she says that she knows that it's his problem, and therefore she does get ksuba.
Well, they understood now. This is the third.
No, first time. If they come with Tina's story, they come with reasons, not because they're waiting and there's no children for 10 years. He says, "I know she has a problem." She says, "I know he has a problem." We'll see right away what she says. She's going to say that when his ejaculation is not strong. He doesn't have a strong ejaculation, and that's something that she could tell. And he has everything.
What can he tell?
And he doesn't say. I'll put in a shot that they say they've shown him that she's miskasha, that whatever b'shas tashma she gets hard in a way that she's pulled into shechazera. Something that he says that he knows that she can't have children something physical about
He has
her.
to be. He has to know a lot. He has to be almost a doctor.
Okay,
Okay.
and also her also. She has to be a doctor's tickle. But
No, that she feels. No?
okay, so he's also feeling something, whatever the case would be. But he says, whatever the case, we even without any examples. The Gemara, right here nowadays, it could be much different, and they'll go to the doctor to see whose issue it is. But in the Gemara, it says if it's something that has to do with their knowledge, and he says it's her fault, and she says it's his fault, arguing if she gets ksuba or not. These intimate issues, she's the one who is believed. Doesn't have the question of believe. The question is, who knows better? The Gemara say right away that she could know his problem more than he could know her problem. He means literally shooting like an arrow, which means when the ejaculation happens, does it come out strong, powerful. So she could tell more than he could tell. He thinks that it came out powerful, but she could feel if it was powerful or not. And she is more believed, not because
Why
of
do you say
belief. The Gemara seems to say that he doesn't. The only way you could talk about it is only by trusting. Who's more trustworthy? There's no other way to. It could be that ksuba also. We say ksuba. Usually we say is what's it called? I'm not sure if you say I'm not sure. I don't know the answer. I don't know. But here it says that in this issue of Yorah, she knows better than him. The Gemara doesn't talk about the other thing. What does he say about her? That the Gemara doesn't discuss. You have to say that he also doesn't know that so well. If he knows as well as she does, her problem is then also doesn't make sense. There are many pshatim in this Gemara.
Doctor and she's not.
Okay, I mean, all these questions I don't know, and there are also many other pshatim in this Gemara. What's the case exactly? I just tried to get through it. One simple pshat. Next Gemara, new Gemara. Let's make another period over here. Amar Ihu. He says, I'll marry another woman. He's allowed to marry another woman. I'll marry another woman and I'll check myself. Means I'll be able to have children. So that means I'm and I'm able to have children, and that'll show that it's your fault. And then he wants to divorce the first wife without ksuba. So what's the problem? It's not going to help him. He's still going to have to give ksuba if he marries another wife. And now the Gemara goes off into an issue that really the Gemara could have made an issue on his own. Is a person allowed to marry a second wife without permission of the first wife? He married, he must marry a second wife. Shani Omer, so Rabami says that the first wife could say, I don't want to be a second wife. I don't want a co-wife. And if you marry a second wife, I want out, then you have to give me ksuba. And that's what Rabami says. So therefore, the Gemara seems to say that he's not going to gain. Now, I don't understand this because he's saying, I'm not marrying a second wife. I want to divorce you without a ksuba, but because you're not having children. And I know that it's your issue. And you're saying that's my issue. I can prove myself. And we should really put the money by Bezdin, the ksuba money, and then he'll get married. He'll show that I don't owe you ksuba, not on the taina of not having children, and not on the because I could have children and you can't. And also, as far as marrying a second wife, that's not the time he has to give ksuba. He had no right. He didn't have to marry. He didn't have to stay with her because. So I don't understand how the Gemara says that he cannot do this test. According to Rabami, if he's going to divorce her, or if he's going to take another wife, he has to give the first one ksuba. He has to divorce. She has a right to say, "I want out."
I'm not sure my teretz. So maybe she needs the money right now. What do you give a ksuba?
Okay, so then he should get it back.
Maybe what?
It doesn't sound like it. It doesn't sound like it. It sounds like he has to give ksuba. Yes, he doesn't get it back. It doesn't sound like it. But now the Gemara does say, Rabbi argues, no si adam al kama nashim al lishta vuda isla lemuzin limizaynin that he could marry many women. It's no such thing. He argues in Rabami and he passes like Rabba that a person could marry many wives even if he didn't, right? As long as he has enough parnash, as long as he has enough money to support them, he's allowed to. So according to Rabba, the Gemara doesn't explain. But according to Rabba, he would be able to do this if the question is if he's able to have children. So I'll say I'm marry another woman, and I'll if I have children, so then I could divorce the first one without giving ksuba. Because he proved that it's not a problem. It's not his problem. It's her problem.
Right. Okay. So let's say he doesn't have children for 10 years. Then so she has to stay married for 10 years.
I don't understand.
Until he has a child, he can't. He's not proving.
Right.
So then she's stuck with him. She's stuck with
him.
He wants to
divorce her without giving ksuba,
right.
And we say you have to give ksuba.
Right. So she's stuck in the marriage until he has a child. When he doesn't have a child, then she's stuck in the.
So like I said, this Gemara, the very pshat. Maybe this is one of the problems that they have over here. But I just said one simple pshat that he's saying that I definitely know it's her. She says I definitely know that it's him. And the Gemara says she's believed that she gets ksuba. And it would be an eitzah that he would marry and show that he could have children, then he would not have to give ksuba. Okay, and that's the end of that Gemara. Okay, and now on the next page. So we had who amar apal to go apal to aflas to go esev yamralo. We had a Mishnah that said that there's a 10-year wait, and if she has a miscarriage, so then the count starts again. The clock starts again. He says now it's 10 years. They're married 10 years, and he says that she had a miscarriage in between, and 10 years is not over yet. And she says, no, I didn't, and therefore 10 years is up. And she wants to get divorced, and she wants
could
to.
Force him, and we had this. She could force him to get divorced.
So we didn't have such a thing. So it is a little strange. The one at the bottom of the page is going to say that a woman also has a right to have children. A right, not a mitzvah to have children. Was to say she wants children for her own issues. She has personal reason to want to have children, and if they don't have children, she also has a right to divorce, to demand a divorce. And that's not. It's a little chiddush because I want to talk about it yet.
It's also chiddush because she
I remember hearing from somebody, I don't know if it's a source inside, but that a woman who lives through her life and doesn't have children is missing something very much.
That's going to be the bottom of the page. That's going to be so. Even though she's no mitzvah approval, but she has a right to have children, and she has a need, a want, and therefore she could say. So this Gemara will learn that she wants children, and she says that it's 10 years already, and it was not mampo. And without the Gemara on the bottom, you'll say that the case is just. She's being like a mashgiach. She says, "What I tell you, the truth is, it was not mampo, and Bezdin do what you have to do, and they're going to force him to divorce because he has a mitzvah approval." If you don't know the Gemara at the bottom of the page, that's how we can learn over here. But the Gemara is going to say that she has a right to demand the divorce also. This is the case also. She's believed that she was not mampo. Why? Because she's more trustworthy in this question. It's not mistaber that she's lying because a woman doesn't want to say that she's an akara. It means here the question is, she didn't have children. She didn't have children for 10 years. Let me just maybe for this to help. This might help the Zoom at least.
black out the sound.
Yeah. So, that here the question is, she didn't have children for 10 years. And he says that she had a miss, which gives an extension of the 10 years. She's not yet Huchsik Akara. And she says, no, I didn't have children. I didn't have Apollo. I didn't have a miss. And it's 10 years and it looks like I'm an Akara. It looks like I can't have children. So a woman wouldn't say that. It's a woman would rather have had a miscarriage than not to have had even that for the 10 years. It makes it look worse for her. It makes it look worse for her if she did not have a miss. So if she says she didn't have a miss, she's more believed. It means her ulterior motive, her ulterior motive, if anything, would be to say that I did have a miscarriage than to say that I went 10 years without anything. So she's more trusted. She's more believed over here. And that's the end of that Gemara. And the next Gemara, Ipila v'chazra. Oh, I missed something over there. Ipila v'chazra. She had 3 miscarriages. That's one point, which we didn't have in the mission. We didn't talk about that.
So we lost the
What did we lose?
the text.
Oh, okay, thank you. Okay, here's the Gemara. If she had 3 miscarriages, she has a chazaka that she's going to miscarry, and not have a healthy child, and that means that he'd have to divorce her the same way, but waiting 10 years. This is also something. Even if she had 3 hapalot, 3 miscarriages, and now also that he's not going to have children with her, and actually says he'd have to give ksuba the same way as 10 years. Maybe it's because of him. Maybe it's because of him that she's not having children. And if I have somebody, or it has to do with the schus also, and therefore he'd have to divorce her and give her ksuba. That's
This could come out like it could be in a year and a half or something.
Yes, right. Who amar apila trey v'hi amar atlas. Now comes another issue. What a case where he says that it's already 3 times. I'm sorry, he says 2 times only, and it's not yet reason to give a divorce. And she says, no, it's already 3 times, and it's time to give a divorce. Again, she's coming either because she wants children or because she's Bezdin's mashgiach, and she says, Bezdin, do what you have to do because he has to have children, whatever the case would be. There was such a case that happened. Machlokes, the husband and the wife, if she was mapped twice or 3 times, and they said she's believed. Why? Again, she doesn't have an ulterior motive. This is going to be more, but the imisa, the law afla, nafsha benifti law machaska. Here the question is she muchzekes nefalim or not? it's not good for a woman to be muhzekes nefalim. That she has 3 miscarriages. So if she does say so, that she probably is believed because she wouldn't want to lie. It's on the contrary. Her statement is against this. It's bad for her to say such a thing. She'd rather say only 2 times than to say 3 times. If she says 3 times, she's more believed, and it's against her ulterior motive. Against her, I don't know what you'd call it that. Well, it's against what you would want. So if she says a testimony against what's not good for her, so then she's believed. So in this case, she'd be believed and we force him to give a get and give ksuba. And now it goes very general. Now we come to a sugya where it's no problems. Until we had yevamos, all kinds of problems, and also the cases about the not having children. Now it talks about who's mitzvah and purview of you.
Why was this Mishnah before the one before?
I don't know, but there are many mishnayos like that. I think the reason is going to be because it comes in really from yevamos. Whatever the connecting factor is, it starts from yevamos, and that's how we got into it. And now it goes on a tangent. Who's has the mitzvah to have children? So the Tanna Kama says only the man. The woman is not. Of course, that's wonderful for a woman to get married. That's her shleimus. That's what she's built for. That's what she's made for. That's her shleimus in life. But as far as the mitzvah preview, she's not commanded. It has ramifications. Rabbi Yochanan says no. That is plural. Hashem says produce and multiply in the plural. So she also, Hashem said the other man chava. So that's machlokas. Tanna Kama says only the man. Rabbi Yochanan says both of them have the mitzvah. But not immediately. Where does Tanna Kama? Where does he get it from? That only the man. Like it says pruvu. It's plural. Rabbi Yochanan is right. After it says pruvu, it says fill the land and conquer it. That's the way Hashem presented the mitzvah of pruvu, fill the land and conquer it. The word kivshua, to conquer it, who conquers? So here it happens to be the conquering is by settling, by multiplying. But the word kibush usually means to conquer, means war. And therefore, we're talking to the men. When you talk about conquering, you talk to the men. So even though it says it in the plural, it means only the man. Adi Rabba, Vikivshua Tati Mashma. The more it says, but the word is plural. Vikivshua is a plural. It says you, plural. It doesn't say in the singular. So Yavakasha, why it says if the conquering is only for the men, but here it says it in plural. The Gemara answers, even though it is read Vikivshua, but it doesn't have the verb over there, so it could be read Vikivsha, which means it's talking to only the man, singular, and therefore the Rabbanan say that since the Darkol Akabish is only for the man, so the mitzvah Pruvu is only for the man. If Yosef has a different source for the Rabbanan, how do they know that the mitzvah is only on the man? Ani El Shaddai, Prei Ruvei. This is when Hashem told Yaakov, he said in the singular, Prei Ruvei, multiply, produce and multiply. And Lokam approval over there, Hashem didn't say approval. Hashem said Prei Ruvei. So you see, the mitzvah is only on the man.
Maybe you could say that by Yaakov, that by him it was on the man, and by the rest of the world it was
Why?
by
Why should that be? If there's a mitzvah approval, it's on the women also. Yeah, but that's the kasha. That Yaakov's wives should be different than every other woman. Rachel and Leah, is there mitzvah approval also? If there is, Hashem would have said to them also. Everybody collectively approval. Since Hashem said only to Yaakov, that means that the mitzvah is only on the man.
No, he was talking to Yaakov. Since he was talking to Yaakov, he was talking to him, and he was talking to him personally.
Right. Okay, it's nice, Kasha. Probably on the Drash world. In the Pshat, you're right. But in the Drash, Hashem would have spoken to all of them and told them all approval.
Okay.
But I think you're right in the Pshat. Because this was mentioned from Rabbi Ilah, Mishum, Rabbi Elazar, Rabbi Shimon. So we get some extra credit over here. And a bonus. That's also going to be, that was a mistake.
We have the halacha is like the Tanna Kama, right?
That's going to be a sugya at the bottom of the page. We'll do it today still. That's
Okay.
going to be because of this one that was mentioned, Abdullah, he's the one who said the drasha of the Kivshua, Ishdakul Chabesh. So we're going to also now get some extra credit, a bonus, a little cruise about things that Rabbi Ilah said in the name of Rabbi Elazar Rabbi Shimon. That's going to go until here. So here's the Gemara. Two bonuses. The Amma, here's the other one coming up. Also Avila, Mishum Elazar Rabbi Shimon. Two more bonuses because of the name that came in Agav. Rabila Mishum Elazar Rabbi Shimon. Shem Shemitzvah Aladam Lama Dava Nishma. Kach Mitzvah Aladam Lama Shalom Lama Dava Sheni Nishma. Just like it's a mitzvah to say things that will be heard, it's also a mitzvah not to say things that will not be heard. It means if you know that the listener is not going to listen, don't say it. And this, the Rashi says, talking about tochacha, that when you give tochacha, so it has to be that there's a chance the person is going to listen. But if you know he's not going to listen, don't say it.
Why is that?
Go ahead.
But why we assume it's back to the Chacham?
You see in the next line, the Gemara is going
No,
to say.
that I hear, but why, without the next line, why, it's connected, these two lines?
The chova, if he says on the same thing, he said chova. Not only is it a mitzvah, it's even a chova. Mitzvah means it's a good thing, a very good thing, and the chova means mamash an obligation. You're not allowed to say something to somebody that he's not going to listen. Don't rebuke the mocker because he might hate you. But do give rebuke to the chacham because he's going to love you. So from here we see that it's talking about the chacham. Abraham saying that maybe in the first Gemara alone, you wouldn't have known that it's talking about the chacham. Stop! Don't talk to somebody that he's not going to listen. Eitza tova. And let's talk about the chacham. Not that you did anything wrong, but and the Gemara you see it's talking about the chacham. And from here they learn out that you're not supposed to say the chacham to somebody that he's not going to listen.
No, if it's not the chacham. I want to say it's a beautiful day and whatever. And I know the person's not interested in such talk. So
Not
maybe
interested.
I shouldn't say it.
Davar she'ein nishma, I don't know if it means that it doesn't interested. It means that he's not going to listen to you. Davar she'ein nishma doesn't mean that he's not interested in the subject. It means you want to tell him something to do something, he's not going to listen. I can understand that. It doesn't only mean tochacha. Maybe when I say it talks about other things, they're telling him to do, but it's not tochacha. A parent that's going to say to a kid something. If you know he's not going to listen, don't tell him. It means figure out how to get him to do things, but don't tell him things that he's not going to listen. It's also a good answer.
I see someone smoking. So don't tell him not to smoke. It's very.
That's the kid. That's tochacha. The mitzvah of tochacha be karon. Tochacha would mean to tell somebody things that he's doing wrong. If it's avera, and also I think if it's ruining his health, and if he's the ber midos, or what else could be? He has the way that he acts with his neighbors, whatever. That's also, even if it's not a issa mamish, it's not right.
So meaning, if you see a guy smoking, even though you know 100% he's not going to listen to you, it doesn't make a difference. You should still.
No. Here it says don't. Here it says, I'm saying that smoking, if be karon, is a kind of a thing that he should tell somebody not to, if he's going to listen. But here it says, if he's not going to listen, then don't tell him.
Okay, that's right.
They have questions on this Gemara. Yeah, go ahead.
If I can mention is that the Nevi'im was told to Shemet told one of the Nevi'im, I don't remember who it was, we learned it, that you should say Tachacha, and I know they're not going to listen to you, but they have to hear.
There is to the Pasuk in Navi. We really have.
That was an exception.
Kibnei Miriam, no, he said that. Listen.
And Hashem said they're not going to listen.
Oh yeah, I've been trained.
They're not going to listen, but they have to hear it so that when the Tachacha, when the punishment comes, I think that was the reason the punishment will come, and then they'll say, well, we weren't told. No.
If you could find it, I appreciate it.
You get it. Okay.
That even if they said, Hashem said, I know they're not going to listen,
Yes.
and still tell it to them. Okay, if you could, I cannot now after, but it is that the Poskim do talk about such a thing that sometimes you have to say it at least once that they shouldn't be able to say we didn't know. They call it piskon peh.
I wish I remembered.
A piskon peh. They shouldn't have an excuse. Or sometimes you could say that the fact that Rav didn't say anything is the proof that it must be okay.
I know that's true. Let's say someone come in smoking. He doesn't think they like the smoke. He knows that people. It's a waste of time to tell them.
Okay, but it depends. It depends. Sometimes they say if he wouldn't have said, if he would have really whatever, they would have said something.
No, not everyone today. A lot of people don't. It's a bracha batala. You don't say.
But there's an aspect that they will say that it's not so bad if he didn't say anything. I think that I forgot the name of the Rav, but he had a congregation where they watched television. And in those days it was television. Now they have television nowadays. Now that would be a big bracha nowadays. But in those days the issue was television, and he used to tell his congregation once a year. Once a year he used to tell them not to watch television. I don't know why once a year. Maybe new congregants came because he said they have to know that they shouldn't say the rabbi didn't say anything. You should know. It's not, I know you're not going to listen. I think he used to say that, but you shouldn't think that I'm condoning it. But that's the poskim. They have contradictions. Other Gemaras. One Gemara says you're supposed to give rebuke until he hits you. So that means like he's not listening. But they have contradictions out of other Gemaras. But this Gemara seems to say not to rebuke if you know they're not going to listen, and you're not allowed to. Over. Next Gemara, also a extra credit. You're allowed to change. The word change means not the exact truth. To say something which is not the exact truth, and maybe call it a lie, in order to make peace. Now, we know about this, we heard about this, you're allowed to lie in order for peaceful. But the Gemara's examples are a little bit of a chiddush because I wouldn't have called this to make peace. Shenema, the name was so, this is after Yaakov died. So the brothers, the Shvatim, were scared that he's going to get back at them. So they made up a story that Yaakov told us to tell you that please forgive them in the name of Yaakov. And Yaakov never said such a thing. So how did they lie? B'nei Shalom. That's called B'nei Shalom. I would, of course, so this is not called B'nei Shalom. This is called because they want to save their skin. That's called B'nei Shalom. But that's what the Gemara says. I don't know. That's what the Gemara says.
Their own shalom.
What is that?
Their own shalom.
Their own shalom. That's called shalom. That's people take this as a big heter. People say, whenever it's uncomfortable for me, so I can lie because I want to make shalom because we also have time. I didn't come to his chasna and he's gonna have kindness. So I'll make up a story. Why Mibnei Shalom? You know, whenever a person is in trouble, so he'll say, Mibnei Shalom. You're allowed to do that? I don't know. What do you say?
They really thought he was going to kill him?
The Hashiv Yashiv Lanu is called Rasha Gamalu also. That's what it says.
Yeah, but now they're not.
Maybe he's not going to support them, whatever you want to say. Hashiv Yashiv Lanu is called Rasha Gamalu also. Rabbi Nosson Omer mitzvah. Not only is it mutter, it's even a mitzvah. It's even a mitzvah. L'shamas b'nei Shalom. Shenema. Another case where you see that Shinu b'nei Shalom, and here it says he's supposed to do it. Over there you see the Shvatim did it, but here you see it's even a mitzvah. How come? And Hashem told him, so also a similar kasha. Over here also, in the first case also, because I think he's going to kill them or whatever. And see also, it's the kasha. Why is it called this? Is called B'nai Shalom. Over here, Shmuel was told to anoint David. And Shmuel was scared that Shaul's going to kill him. So Hashem made up a story. Hashem said, take a calf, and come to Beis Lechem to say, I want to make a korban over there on the bama. And that's what he did. So Shmuel lied. Hashem even told him to lie.
You see, it's a mitzvah. You see, that was the eighth. Maybe it was an eighth. So how do you see
How do you say it's a mitzvah? The fact that Hashem told him. Maybe it's only an eighth. So how do you say that's a mitzvah? The Gemara does say, is any Rashi on all this? So you're saying you don't see that? Maybe Hashem gave him rishus. How do you say Hashem tziva? Okay, I don't know. So the more proofs from there, there's also a second proof, and not only that's mutter, even that it's a mitzvah because Hashem told Shmuel to lie. The very Shmuel Tana, God al Shalom Shafakadosh Baruch Hu Shina. You even find that Hashem himself lied in order to make shalom. The Meikar Ksiv Adonizah came that Sarah laughed when she heard that Abraham will have children, and she said Adonizah came. She also said I'm old. She said after I was withered out, it's I'm going to become young again, and my master Avraham is old. But Hashem didn't say that. When Hashem was telling over Avraham what Sarah said, he just said that she said about herself that she's old. How could she have children? She didn't say. Hashem didn't say that Sarah said that Avraham is also old. That part Hashem didn't say. That's also called L'shanos with B'nai Shalom. Not to say everything is also called L'shanos. Even though she also said that she's old in a way.
Is it called lying?
What are you asking?
I'm asking is that not to.
Oh, to leave out. To leave out is not called lying. I think when it's expected, that's the story, and then that'll be by not saying something, saying half a story. Sometimes it depends on the situation. Maybe someone told me, my chavrusa said that it's not that some refreshment on the opposite. It's the drash. That she was Pirsanida. So she's saying me, even though I'm on, but no, I became young again, so I'm not a problem. But Adonizah came, so she didn't say that she's old, according to that. But I think it's more like a drash. I don't think it's much of shot. And others, my chavrusa said that the thing Vanizah Kanti and Adonizah came, you see that Hashem is replacing the words Adonizah came and Adonizah Kanti. Not that she said Achrei Velosi. The fact that Hashem quoted her as saying Vanizah Kanti is replacing the words that she really said Adonizah came. So it's more of like putting the words into her mouth.
She wants to go to Vavin, like something before.
The ones that won?
Since he said Va'aniza came, what else?
How does it go in the pasuk over there? Lama zetzachaka Sarah lemor. Lama zetzachaka lemor. Afum nama leid Vanizah kanti. Afum nama leid. Can I in truth have children? and I became old. Hare ani zakanti. So the ba'ani, the first shot agrees, but you want to say that the vav is coming to be around, there was something else that Hashem left out. Okay.
Then
But Chaim was asking this: if you leave out something, it's not called saying a lie. So I'm just suggesting that if it's understood by what you left out, that's all that was said. Like Hashem is coming to say her taina, why she said that I can't have children because I'm old, and she really said two reasons, and he only said one. So maybe it's understood that was the only thing that she said. Maybe I'm not sure. Sometimes for sure, leaving out something is for sure going to insinuate,
I would say if Kined is dust, then it's a lie.
Okay, but the Gemara calls it l'shanos. Okay.
No, by the way, the Shana is this Chaim Dov alluded to, and I think it's Maral that he says it doesn't say mutal shaker, it's a l'shanos.
So what do you do with that?
So he says that the MS is supposed to be and it's true, and not that and over here you're not being the shak, you're being the shanas.
Okay, it could be that's a Hasidus maybe. I think all the Gemaras that say that everyone knows by Yaakov, he says Esav. How does it go over there? Ani v'chorcha Esav. Ani. And Esav. So the children go to Cheder and then they hear that they all go home and they know who ate the chocolate cake, and they say oh shtickle Torah, not me, oh God. So of course a lie is a lie, even no matter how you say it. But here the point of saying like a white lie is a black lie. A white lie is a lie. But when you mutter to lie, then there's a chassidus to be mishaneh and not to say actual. It's a chassidus. I think that's the moral. The moral's talking about that. The moral's talking about when you're allowed to lie. Still try to do it, unless there's another moral.
Many years ago, it's sold by the Brandmans. It's sold by. You don't have to say it. It's not smart to say it. In some kind of machlokas that was going. It's. I think he's going according.
Yeah. Okay, but Mibdei Shalom, something Mibdei Shalom over here. Mibdei Shalom. That's this Gemara.
And then another. No, I heard it from Berkowitz. When Chaim Dov I heard from Berkowitz, he said that he was talking about regarding shidduchim. When you're dating, so he said the first you're not allowed to lie, but you don't have to say everything on the spot. You can say later.
No.
Similarly. But then one more question over here. How do you see it's more to Yeshanas from Shalom? I would say maybe Shalom Bayis is different than Stam Shalom. Shalom Bayis we see a couple of more day.
Shema. Okay. Now the Gemara.
He had the whole take about that. Right, very tough. He says about shidduchim. That's what he spoke about. You really have to know what you have to answer. I mean, if it's something that the girl is sick and it's whatever, then you got to tell them, of course. But if it's something that's not that important, then maybe you could leave it off or whatever. He says it's a mamish. A rov really has to know. How to answer these questions. What to say, what not to say. It's
okay.
Not questions.
The rest of the Gemara talks now. Who do you pass like? The Mishnah Machlokes, if the mitzvah pure was on the woman or not, and that's not a question we pass like. So Tanakama said only on the man. The Berachman Broker said even on the woman. If my Berachman Bishul ben Levi, it's Machlokes on the wrong. What do you pass like? Chadam alacha, Krab Yochanan Broker, Chadam ein alacha, Krab Yochanan Broker. One says that Allah is like him, that even the woman has a mitzvah, and the other one says no, Allah is not like him, only on the man. But we don't know yet who holds what. We do know Rabbi Yochanan Bishul ben Levi, but who holds what we don't know yet. This time, Rabbi Yochanan who dam ein alacha. I can bring a proof that Rabbi Yochanan is one who says we don't pass like Rabbi Yochanan ben Broker, and only the man has a mitzvah. How do you know what's the story? Yosef Rabavohu. This was Rabavohu. Yosef Rabavohu come with Rabbi Yochanan halacha, because Rabbi Yochanan was saying in the name of Rabbi Yochanan that the halacha is like Rabbi Yochanan ben Broker, that the woman is also mechuyev. But Vadrin Rabbi Rabasi Lapayu, but Rabbi Rabasi, who seemed to be bigger talmidim of Rabbi Yochanan, they turned away their face in order to show that that's not true. They like to turn away in disagreement to show that can't be. Rabbi Yochanan didn't say that. So that would be a proof. The Gemara holds that Rabbi Rabasi are more accurate in what Rabbi Yochanan said. So even though Rabbi Vo did say in the name of Rabbi Yochanan that Allah is like Rabbi Yochanan Broka, but Rabbi Rabasi said that Rabbi Yochanan didn't say that. Another version, the same story, but not Rabbi Vo. Some say Rabbi Bar Abba is the one who said it, he's the one, Omar, he's the one who said that in the name of Rabbi Yochanan, Allah Rabbi Yochanan ben Broka, Vajuna Bami Rabasi Lapayu, and they showed disagreement. So again, the Gemara is saying that Rabbi Yochanan is the one who says that Allah is not like Rabbi Yochanan ben Broka. Before the Gemara goes further, it has a little parentheses over here that the Gemara is wondering why did he only turn their face and not say that's not true, that's not so. Omar Rav Papa.
Sorry, we need to say that Rabbi Ami and Rabasi were after.
They were Talmidim of Rabbi Yochanan. They're big Talmidim of Rabbi Yochanan. Rabbi and Rabasi big Talmidim of Rabbi Yochanan. And if they said that the Rabbi Yochanan didn't say that, so they're more accurate than Rabbi Vo or Rabbi Rabba. Before the Gemara goes further, it has a point about who's the correct version. Was it Rabbi Vo or was it Rabbi Rabba? Amra Papa. Bishlam Alaman Damar Rabbi Vo Amra Bishum Fod Bekesa Allah Mu V'Lei V'Lamidi. How come the Rabbi Rabasi didn't say no? That's not true. So if it will be Rabbi Avo, we would understand why they didn't say so before. They just showed with expression. They showed that he's wrong because he was that he was in the government. Rabbi Avo was recognized by the Kesa and by the Goyish Kesa. Because of his status, so they weren't able. It wasn't covered to say beferish that you're wrong. But they didn't let it go by. They made the motion to know that to show him that he's wrong, but they didn't want to say something farish. But if it will be a b'chibra, but there's no reason why Rabbi Ami Rabasi wouldn't have said so. They should have said no. Rabbi Yochanan did not say so.
I don't get that. If I have a way to show my point without arguing.
No, it depends on the relationship. If there's a two equals, so he says yes, he says no, it's not true. There's no reason why you should have. You don't show overly derech eretz to somebody that's not overly above you. It's not. You don't. It's not proper to be too much derech eretz either. There's no the normal. So if he would be the bekesa, so then they didn't want to say the favorites. They just motion. But if it would be they're equal, so there's no reason they shouldn't have said no. That's not true. They didn't say so. So that's only a side point. Who was the one who said it? Rabbi or Rabbi? Either way, either version comes out that Rabbi Abbasi disagreed, and that he seems to be a testimony that the Rabbi Yochanan did not say. It says the Allah is not like Rabbi Yochanan and Broka. The mitzvah is only on the man. But the Gemara still continues. Allah, what's going to be? Who are we going to pass like about this issue about Rabbi Yochanan and Broka? Is it a mitzvah on the woman also? Tashma, Damar Bacha Barachanina, Amr Abavo, Amr Abbasi. Here's Abbasi. Before we had a question, Abbasi is the one who said no. Uvda Kamed Rabbi Yochanan. We're looking at Rabbi Yochanan again. What did Rabbi Yochanan say? The Knishta de Kesari, and the basic Knesset of Kesaria, Caesarea. But Amar Yosef eating Ksuba. Here, I can't tell the story from the Gemara, but it seems the story was that they weren't having children, and she wanted to get. The woman wanted to get. That's the case would be that the husband cannot have children anyway, so it wasn't his business, wasn't going to force him to give a get on his account. But she wanted children, and she came to the Rav and said she wants to get because her husband can't have children. If she has no mitzvah, so how could she demand ksuba? It means if she has a need to have children because she has a mitzvah, so then she could say, I have a mitzvah to have children, and I can't. My husband's not having children. He's sterile. So I want to get, and then she does. She could demand the get. She could deserve ksuba. Otherwise, she can't demand the get. A woman cannot demand the get. Only the husband has the right. But here, both, he could force her to give a get, and also ksuba, mamish, that she wins. Why did she win? She has no schutz. It must be that she has a mitzvah approval. But the Gemara says no, it's not approved. She had a complaint. She had the reason why she wanted children, not because she has a mitzvah. There's other reasons why her personal reasons why she wanted a child. There's another story. A woman came to Rabami, same story. And she said she asked ksuba. She wanted a divorce. Also, not only having ksuba, she wanted a get. A same case that the husband was not able to have children, and she wanted children, and she said, "I want to get with ksuba." He said, "No, you're not. Go. You have no mitzvah. So stay married without children." What's going to be in this woman's old age? Means I want children for my old age. He would say other reasons also. He would say a woman wants children. She wants children. The Gemara talks about it. The woman wants children because in her old age she needs a child. She needs people to take care of her in her old age. So not a mitzvah. Not a mitzvah. I want children. So he says yes. Nachman. Same issue that a woman came to Rav Nachman and said she wants to get because her husband cannot have children, and he told her you have no mitzvah. Does this woman, myself, do I not need a cane for my hand?
Why is she speaking about
About themselves, you find it sometimes like that. I don't know when yes, when not, but does this woman not need a cane for her hand and a shovel? She doesn't say I. And or a shovel for burial means who's gonna hold on to me in my old age? Who's gonna bury me? I need a child. So it's the same thing as before, that nothing because of mitzvahs. I could say nowadays women will say other reasons why they want a child, but okay, whatever the reason is, that a woman wants a child besides mitzvahs, and she has a right, and it's not a proof about our Mishnah. It could be that a woman is not even for review, and all these people said Lam of Kadas. I don't you see, they all pass in like Tanakam, that a woman is not with silver. The more started off, but as a Brochna, B'Shuv Levi, but the Maisi, you see all these Amaram that they all say they're not Mechoyev. So that's how we pass in, that a woman is not Mechoyev for review, but she does have a time she wants children, and she could demand the get if the husband cannot.
He is demanding the get, meaning he'd pay the ketubah.
Both of them, both demanding a get and also ksuba, because otherwise she wouldn't have a right to demand the get either.
Okay.
I think Fesh talks about why doesn't say that also. It does talks about the ksuba. The point is also about forcing a get. And the rest of the Gemara now continues about, we finished this issue about these stories over here. I'm sorry, I lost that. We're talking still about the mitzvah of pruavu on a woman, and the Gemara continues. Yehuda v'Chizkiah, Ta'omim Hayu. There were Yehuda and Chizkiah, the sons of Rav Chia. Rav Chia had sons, twins, Yehuda and Chizkiah. Yehuda braided Rav Chia, Chizkiah braided Rav Chia. And these are the famous Yehuda and Chizkiah. And this is not the Rav Yehuda that we know, the regular Rav Yehuda by Yecheskel. This is Yehuda, the son of Rav Chia. And they were twins. It happens to be they were difficult twins, not as children, but as what?
Why are they famous?
Yehuda v'Chizkiah. Yehuda v'Chizkiah. Yehuda v'Chizkiah. Okay, let's find where they say it. So they were twins, but they were what's then? Only over there? Okay, I think that it comes off often. Yehuda v'Chizkiah. Okay. Well, maybe I'm wrong. So Echad Nigma B'Tshuvasa L'Sof Tisha v'Echad Nigma B'Tshuvasa L'Tchila Shiva. It was a very difficult pregnancy because one of them was born like two months earlier, because we said that there's such a thing as a 7-month term baby, and there's an 8th month and a 9-month. I'm sorry. So one was born after 7 months, and then she had the other one for another 2 months. So it was a difficult pregnancy. The second one was born 2 months later. So that was difficult. Her pregnancies were difficult. Nowadays it doesn't happen.
Or maybe she can see twice.
No.
I mean,
but it says here, it says Echad Nigma B'Tshuvasa L'Sof Tisha v'Echad Nigma B'Tshuvasa L'Tchila Shiva. Therefore what?
So maybe she conceived the second time after the first 2 months of the first conception.
When did she give birth?
At the same time. The Tulman.
I think the Gemara says a person like that. That if it's not here, then it's a need of that. That it could be a case that the second child stays 2 months more in the womb than the first one. That's the case. That was what happened over here. Tell me they're twins. That means they both of them conceived simultaneously, and one took another 2 months to be born. One was born, she conceived at a certain time. 7 months later, she had one baby. 2 months later, she had another baby.
But the Gemara says that mathematically, one is not 42, one's 7 months.
Yes, because one was born after 7 months, one was born after 9 months. She conceived at the same time, both of them.
7 months was born first.
Yeah, and then 2 months later, she had a second birth. And that was a big difficulty. And the name of the woman, the name of Rav Chia's wife was Yehudis. Yehudis, the visu, the Rav Chia, have Lotzar Leda. And Yehudis, the wife, she had a very difficult pregnancy, a very difficult birth.
2 different.
Yeah, 2 times, twins. And she didn't want to have children anymore. But she knew that her husband did want. So she disguised herself. Shanoi Mana, she changed her clothing when she disguised herself. And she came to Rav Chia to ask a shayla, a woman asking a shayla. It's a mifkada is a woman with silver and mitzvah approval. So she said no. So she went. She drank a potion to make herself sterile. Because she has no mitzvah and no more children.
I'm sorry. She should have an abortion.
No. She shouldn't be. She should. Yeah, no more children. She gave birth to the children, but she didn't want to have any more children.
Yeah.
No more conception. And then, what is that?
She's the wife of Rav Chia. That's why she disguised herself.
Yes. Because she knew if she'd ask her husband, he would say he doesn't want her to drink a kosher likaron. He doesn't want her to drink such a potion. He wants to have more children. We'll see in a second. Allah Lamaisa. It shouldn't happen to anybody. The Sofik Loi Milsa. At the end, he found out. Of course, it was like Loi. She told him, Allah, you would have given to me another womb full. Means he had great children. He would have wanted to have another womb full of children. The whole story. She had two sets of twins. One were boys, one were girls. It could be the other one also was a difficult pregnancy. And after Yehuda V'Chizkiah, it sounds like she didn't have any more. So Yehuda and Chizkiah were the brothers. Pazi V'Tavi, that was the names of the two girls. They were the sisters. And she's now, and it seems to say it goes together that she's not with Silver, she can stop having children. It's a schuta. She has a right. The post can talk about that nowadays. A woman is not so easy for her to do that because she's obligated to her husband to have children. And in the Gemara's time, he was allowed to take another wife. He could divorce her. He could take another wife. But nowadays that's not possible. So a man is only going to have children from his wife. So she can't take kosher likaron against his will. Here she did it against his will. She said, I can't have children anymore. You need more children to marry somebody else. But nowadays we can't do that. So the post can talk about that. She doesn't have a right to make herself sterile or to what do they call it? A contraceptive. Only if. So same thing, only with his consent, or that medically.
She's got mental problems.
Yeah, many have taken if she whatever the case would be, and then the husband also doesn't have a right to force her. But if not for that, if it's something that's here, it would have to be judged. Is it possible? How difficult is it? And that. But Stam, she doesn't have children anymore. Is it her right? So if it doesn't affect her husband, so then it's her right because she doesn't have mitzvah approval and she's not interested in more children. But now that she's obligated to her husband, that's part of what she would have the marriage, so she cannot do it without his consent. That's what the post is talking about.
Rabbi, after Rabbi Chia found out, what?
Yes.
You said something about. I didn't understand what happened after he found out what she did. What happened?
And he lied. Then he said halavai that she would have had more children.
And then it said names or something, and you said the word sister.
Then it said that he had two sets. She had two sets of twins. One was Yehuda and Chizkiah, and one was, that was history. Going back on the story, Yehuda and Chizkiah. This whole story is like we say that Yehuda and Chizkiah were brothers, and Pazi and Tavi were sisters. They were brothers. They were sisters. That she had two sets of twins. One were boys. One were girls. And
she had the girls before she had the boys.
I think so.
I guess so. Otherwise, it wouldn't work. Okay, I didn't understand. Thank you.
Okay. Then the Gemara ends off. Mifkidi is a woman not with Silva on Piri V'Rivya. Rav Ketina, Rav Yitzchak. Now really it's a machlokes. So I don't know what the Gemara's kasha is, but the Gemara seems to say, who do we pass him like? Rav Yitzchak said, there was a story that there was a woman who was a half maid servant, half baschorin, and they forced the master to free her. Now by a man, we know that's true because he has to marry somebody to prove who. Or the Shabbos Yitzhara, he has to marry, and he can't marry anybody. A Eved could marry a Shifcha. A Ben Chorin could marry a Bas Yisrael, but he's half-half. So you can't marry either. So the one says they still said Yibatel, you shouldn't marry the So that's why we forced the master to free a half slave, half free man. But by a woman, they also forced the master. Why should they force the master? If she has no mitzvah for so then he shouldn't force the master. And the more seems that this is going to halacha, and we don't pass like Yochanan and Broka. So she has no mitzvah for so why should we force the master to free her? That was a different issue. But the fact she couldn't marry anybody, so she was too hefkeros, means that men were getting in trouble with her because she had nobody to marry. So she was dangerous for the public, that she was inciting men. So therefore they got her married, that she should be under control of her husband. That wasn't the case of Puruvu, it's just to keep her in line. So that's the halacha we pass like Bana, Tanakama, that a woman is not with Silver Puruvu, and not like Rabbi Yochanan and Broka. And she does have a time to get that she wants children for her own personal reasons. She should have somebody to help her in her old age, any other reason. But she's not really Musaf in a mitzvah. And also the Gemara comes out that it would be mutter for a woman to take a kind of a potion, some kind of medicine as a contraceptive. The post will talk about that it's not mutter for her to do dafka operation, means that's something else. Serous is something else. Serous to sterilize, to castrate, that is not simple. But to take a pill and things like that, or some kind of potion, that's permissible. It's not damaging the organs. But damaged organs will be a different issue. That's not the same as Agumar. And a man is not allowed to because he has to have children. But a woman is allowed to because she doesn't have to have children. I just mentioned that.
Even if he's had poor room, he's got.
So we spoke about that the more says pas like Rabbi Yeshua that even Harya Labanim is the Yalduso. Yeah, Shenem, but it says no. It says Divrei Kabbalah. It says that Asalam. How does it say? We had the Gemara about Rabbi Yeshua that he's supposed to have children even after the Divrei Kabbalah. How does the Gemara call it? Where is that Rabbi Yeshua? The book is Razerecha, the Erev al Tanach Yerecha. I don't have, and I'm scrolling. I'm not easy to see where it is. I'd have to go into Gemara to see. I'm sorry. Let's take the Gemara to see that. Okay, Shabbat everybody. Thank you. The Tanakama, that's what we passed him. That a woman does not receive approval. He could, but it's not smart because she's not gonna be popular in the Beis Yaakov. It's not nice. It's not nice to name a child a name that is going to be difficult to live with.
What's the problem with these names?
Nothing, no problem. Just it's not the regular name that you have in the school, the friends.
You don't dress with
Yeah.
strange that don't want you to make fun of.
I think the Chazon Ish said even if you want to name somebody after the deceased, but it has to be a name that's mukubal in the chavra, or else it's not fair to the kids. You have to have rachmanas on the living also, not only on the dead. So if someone's name is a good name in Russia, it was a good name, but nowadays it's not a good name anymore. So it's not fair to the child. Maybe add on a second name if you want these kind of things, but they take that into consideration that it's not avera. So probably supposed to give it any kind of name that he wants. But it's just that he should the kid should be happy with his name. The Gemara is before on some of Beis and Beis over there says Rabbi Yeshua Omer, Masis no Rabbi Yeshua, no said Hay Labanim bi'Aldusa, Yi Labanim b'Ziknusa. So the Mishnah says that he doesn't have to marry, that if he has children, he doesn't have to marry. So the Gemara says that we don't. The Mishnah is not like that. We pass on like Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi. Amar Abbastan, Allah Rabbi Yeshua.
They should marry.
They should marry. It could be there can be considerations on the Divrei Kabbalah more than on the Divrei Torah. There's someone who's kind of Ruvu, it's different, even though he didn't do Lev al Tanach Yedecha. There are more considerations maybe to take in. But come on, there is a mitzvah of having more children, even more than the minimum, which is one boy and one girl. Yes, everybody. Thank you.
There's a difference.